Yo, Jet Nation! Welcome to the Turbulence HQ, because today the stuff has hit the fan in a way the MetLife can't even handle. I know, that road loss was a gut punch we're still trying to digest, but the offseason shows no mercy and the rumors are turning into flames. Brace yourselves, because what I'm about to drop will define your mood until next Sunday. We've got two trade bombshells that just came to light, involving vital pieces of our roster. Is the front office auctioning off the defense and our star backfield player? Could he really be on the way out? You won't believe what we got today. So go ahead, sit down, smash that like button, and let's dive straight into the news. And that scent of gunpowder in the air isn't from the fireworks we don't have anymore. It's the trade smoke hanging over Florham Park. The first piece of news is heavy hitting, and I have to start with the name that causes us the most pain. Breece Hall. That's right, fans. This is not media fabrication. It's not clickbait. Hot sources, the kind that don't miss, have confirmed that the phone on GM Aaron Glenn's desk hasn't stopped ringing, and the main topic is our spectacular running back. The 0-6 disaster left no alternative, and now, less than a month before the trade deadline, the Jets are taking calls on Hall. I know, the anger is rising, the frustration is exploding. How can they trade the most dynamic player on our offense? The guy who, even with a passing attack that produces minus 10 net yards, 10 negative yards, in a game still manages to run and catch the ball like a superstar? The naked truth is that Breece Hall's contract is up at the end of the 2025 season. GM Darren Mauge and the coaching staff seem to have put their foot down. If the plan is a long-term rebuild, with Justin Fields still in a trial phase and the future of the offensive line uncertain, paying Breece Hall what he's truly worth, think $13 to $16 million annually for an elite player, running back, just doesn't fit the strategy. The timing of a running back who will be a free agent and the timing of our rebuild simply do not align. It's a cold, calculated move, but one that makes strategic sense, even if it hurts the soul of anyone wearing the jersey. If you're not going to extend him, you have to trade him to get draft capital. The media is already talking about a fourth-round pick, maybe a high third, if the bidding heats up. And the worst part is that some dead-serious teams are calling. Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers, teams that are one piece away from the Super Bowl and know that Breece Hall is that piece. Imagine our Breece carrying the rock for Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert. It makes you want to cry. And he himself, with that cryptic social media post, isn't helping to calm the nerves. He feels frustrated, and rightly so. He's free 20, and it looks like the Jets are ready to free him for an uncertain future in the draft. The fan base is split. Half are screaming that it's ridiculous, that we need to keep the talent, that Hall is the only good thing left to watch on offense. The other half, more pragmatic, understands that a running back doesn't win championships, and that a draft pick is the best way to accelerate the new phase. That's the dichotomy. Trading a player who has produced over 400 rushing yards and 150 receiving yards in just 6 games is a statement. It's saying that 2025 is dead, and we are looking at 2026. The pain is real, but the return, if it's a third-round pick, is a necessary band-aid for an open wound. What makes me uneasy is the other name being shopped along with him, because if losing Hall is already a disaster, the next one could be irreversible for our defense. I warned you the atmosphere was heavy, but we barely had time to breathe in the dust from News 1, and the Jets front office has twisted the knife in the wound again. The transition is tough, but the reality is even tougher. It's not just Breece Hall who is on the trade radar. The name that surfaced along with him in the same impactful report, and which is much more surprising to me, is Jermaine Johnson. Stop everything. What is happening here? Are they dismantling our defense piece by piece? Johnson, our 2023 Pro Bowl edge rusher, one of the emotional and technical leaders of the defensive line, is also generating trade calls. And again, the Jets are listening. The difference between him and Hall is striking, and that's where the real suspense sets in. Breece Hall is a free agent at the end of the year. Jermaine Johnson has his contract guaranteed until 2026, with the 5th-year option picked up. We don't need to trade him. His value won't evaporate at the end of this season. Which leads us to the million-dollar question. If the Jets are taking calls on a young, dominant pass rusher with a controlled contract who is the future of the defense, how real is this teardown? It's either a sign that the new Aaron Glenn management might view Johnson as dispensable in the long-term plan, or, what's more likely, they're trying to snag a very high draft pick. We're talking about a 26-year-old who, when healthy, destroys opposing quarterbacks. If the market heats up, and we already have teams desperate for a pass rush calling, the Jets could be targeting a second-round pick, maybe even a first, if it's for a struggling team that gets a high pick. That would change the 2026 draft for the Jets. But the risk is colossal. Johnson, even with a recent injury history, is the engine of the defense. Who will generate constant pressure if he leaves? Are we counting on Will McDonald? He's still proving himself as a three-down defensive end. Trading Johnson is imploding the foundation that was being built. It's saying goodbye to one of the few certainties of elite talent we had for the next few years. It's a very high-risk, very high-reward negotiation. If we get a high pick, the process accelerates. If we lose Johnson and can't find a suitable replacement in the draft, the defense that is already struggling today could turn into a sieve for years. The fan base is in a panic. Losing Breece Hall is the pain of losing a luxury, but losing Jermaine Johnson is the pain of amputating an essential limb. It's a clear sign that the Jets are in seller mode, and the word rebuild has never been so literal. The window to compete is closed, and the front office is auctioning off the present to finance the future. The question remains, what will be the final price of this radical reconstruction? And who will be the next to be traded? Because if they're listening for Johnson, nobody is safe. And there you have it, fans. The two news items that will dominate the headlines and our sleepless nights. Breece Hall on the table, a cold, calculated move targeting the future of the contract, forcing us to swallow the pain of losing our most electric player. But what keeps me up at night is Jermaine Johnson on the market, a young edge rusher controlled through 2026. It's a super high-stakes gamble on draft capital versus the demolition of our defensive identity. That's the huge controversy. Does the front office have to be crazy to dismantle the best part of the team? Or are they being geniuses, guaranteeing premium picks for 2026? Now I want to know, was this decision by the Jets to take calls on both an absolute stroke of genius or a gigantic mistake that will haunt us? Comment below, drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next bombshell.